And welcome inside the Robert J. Collins Arena in Lincroft, New Jersey for another edition of Brookdale Basketball here on BTV. Alongside Brian Goudsward, I'm Tim Catalfamo. Brookdale, the men's and women's basketball teams, a doubleheader tonight against Atlantic Cape. The women are up first, and both of these two programs, Brian, are in desperate need of a win. For Brookdale, they're trying to stop a very long slide, whereas Atlantic Cape comes off a very impressive win against Cumberland County the other night. Not really sure what to expect, but both these two teams are very excited and looking forward to this matchup tonight.
Yeah, you have to figure for Brookdale they're going to put forth a better performance than what we saw last week. That was just tough to watch on every level, but now they have some reinforcements back in the lineup. That should help. And going against a team that, even though it is coming off a win, has struggled, especially offensively, for most of the year.
Couple of news and notes. Of course, Melissa Golombisky, who's coming off an ankle injury. She will not start, but we do expect her to come in at some point. The other interesting storyline on the Brookdale side is Anna Catanzaro making her first start this year. Remember, she contributed very nicely on the offensive end last year, and Brookdale will be happy to have her back on offense tonight.
Yeah, she was a nice contributor to this team a year ago, did some scoring, did some rebounding. I think her loss was felt in the games that she missed, so getting her back will be a welcoming sight for the Jersey Blues.
So we'll have to see how she contributes along with the rest of the Jersey Blues this evening, along with Atlantic Cape that, as I mentioned a moment ago, is looking to build on that impressive win over Cumberland the other night. So the starting five for the Jersey Blues, as they are just wrapping up being introduced onto the floor: Tiance Wilson, Gianna Piccini, Natasha Oniago, Anna Catanzaro, and Kenya Wagner, the five on the floor for the Jersey Blues. On the side for the Atlantic Cape Lady Bucks, it's Kaylon Jefferson, Caitlin Reed, Jasmine Adams, Yesenia Canos, and Alyssa Reed. As you see them talking with first-year head coach Phil Strauss on the sidelines. Spoke to him pre-game. He told me that game against Cumberland County a few nights ago was their best game of the season, and they're looking to try to build on some momentum coming off of that game. They enter this game 1-4 on the season. Brookdale, of course, 1-6 under fourth-year head coach Rich Brunson. So both these two teams looking for a win, I think, would be an understatement, as they are trying to shake off a couple of shaky starts to their season. Brookdale will open up in the home white uniforms. Atlantic Cape in their away blue uniforms with red lettering and white trim. Our officials this evening are Nate Santana, Eric Montgomery, and Bill Holliday. It'll be Kaylon Jefferson, known to her teammates as KJ, at midcourt, with Natasha Oniago, a developing player on the Jersey Blues side, leading the team in rebounds this year. We'll see how both the Jersey Blues and the Bucks look tonight. Doubleheader underway here in the Collins Arena. We're glad you're joining us here on Brookdale TV. And right away, Anna Catanzaro turns the ball over with a traveling violation right at midcourt. We mentioned this is her first game this season, so maybe a couple of pregame jitters, but Atlantic Cape will get the ball on this possession.
Well, in the blowout loss last Thursday, turnovers were the biggest thing that did Brookdale in, 38 of them in that game, and they're looking to cut down that number tonight.
Here is Canas, and she draws the foul inside, so she'll go to the line. Yesenia Canas, the 5'5" freshman, drawing the foul on Anna Catanzaro. So Canas will go to the foul line. This is a team in the Lady Bucks that struggle mightily from the free throw line. In fact, they're only shooting 33% combined as a team. So foul shots have not been their strong suit, and Canas can't make either one from the foul line. Here's Tiance Wilson with a long three. Catanzaro able to keep it alive. Last touched out of bounds by Atlantic Cape.
Yeah, and we should note that it is Tiance Wilson. We were going by Tiance Williams in the last game, but we got that corrected.
18 to shoot. Catanzaro will inbound. Gets it into Oniago, who I was just talking about, leads the team in rebounding. High off the glass, no. And the rebound is ripped down by Jasmine Adams. Reed has her pocket picked from Wilson, and then she commits a foul at midcourt as Tiance Wilson was bolting to the other side of the court trying to get an easy layup. And that will be the first on Alyssa Reed. So a little bit of a shaky start for both of these two teams. Still scoreless about a minute into the first quarter. Bucks going with a 2-3 zone that leads to a turnover. This is Caitlin Reed bringing the basketball up. We should mention there are 2 Reeds on the floor. You heard me talk about Alyssa. Caitlin, also a Reed family member. Those 2 are cousins, not sisters, but nonetheless are related to each other. As another foul on the floor here on Brookdale. This is going to go against Tiance Wilson. So that's the first foul on Wilson, now the second team foul on the Jersey Blues. Not even 90 seconds into the opening quarter. Caitlin Reed being guarded by Catanzaro. Shot clock is at 4. Canas, a long 3, is an air ball. So far we've seen the Bucks try to get the ball inside. They've had a couple of turnovers and a couple of in-errant shots. On the Brookdale side, they've had turnovers to start this game, Brian, so either team really hasn't been able to start out all that well.
Yeah, both teams trying to settle in here offensively. And remember, in the game against Union, Brookdale went the entire first quarter without scoring a point.
Oniago was an air ball from the corner on that last shot on the Brookdale side. Caitlin Reed can't answer in the post, and now a whistle is going to be called by Nate Santana, and this will actually be a timeout by Coach Brunson. With 7:52 left here in the first quarter, it'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here on Brookdale TV. Mentioned how the women's basketball team is 1-6 on the year, and they have lost 4 games in a row, a very tough loss to a Division II opponent in Union County on Thursday. They've also had losses to Passaic, Middlesex, and Bergen. Passaic, obviously very strong this year. Tia Eaton doing a very impressive job over on that side. Tracy Green on the side for the Bergen Bulldogs also has a great set of players this year. And those are 2 teams looking at the Region 19 conference standings, which will be battling it out at this point near the top. Brookdale and Atlantic Cape, obviously, as I mentioned, trying to shake off a couple of tough games and get back to their winning ways. It's Catanzaro out of that timeout, giving it inside to Kenya Wagner, and Wagner off the back rim and in, and Brookdale on the board now 2-0.
A well-designed play there. Catanzaro getting a touchdown near the post. Nice swing pass toward the paint, and Wagner able to finish it off.
A drive inside there by Alyssa Reed is denied by Catanzaro on the floor. Catanzaro comes up with it. And Brookdale has some numbers here. Wilson will wisely back it out and allow the Jersey Blues to set up their offense. Wagner. It's a long 3. Catanzaro had the rebound. It was partially deflected, and then Caitlin Reed comes in there with the rebound.
And Wagner, one of the bigger players, but she's shown an ability to shoot it from the outside. Made a 3 in the last game that kind of caught us by surprise.
Coach Brunson has told me she's one of the more talented shooters on the program. In fact, one of the best shooters in the post. Talking about Kenya Wagner. In that last game against Union, she had 5 points, but she did contribute on the defensive side. She had 7 blocks, and here she is with a steal. What a move. Kenya Wagner going to the hole, and she's fouled.
And that had the Brookdale bench oohing and eyeing. A little crossover near the midcourt stripe after getting that steal. They'll make her earn it at the free throw line.
Great job by Wagner with the steal, and then you mentioned, Brian, the little crossover move at midcourt. Fouls on Caitlin Reed, that's her first, and the team's second on the side for Atlantic Cape. And now Wagner, the 5'11 freshman from Homedale. It's the first attempt from the line. And she's a player, Brian, that if you're Brookdale, she needs to be able to get the ball inside the post. She needs touches on offense, and that's been something that at times this year Brookdale has struggled to be able to get the ball to her when she's been open in that post area.
Yeah, we talk about neither team, on neither the men's or women's side, having too many players with size, and Wagner is one that possesses that trait.
You saw Melissa Golem-Bysky check in for the first time. She's been nursing an ankle injury. We didn't expect her to play this early on in the game, but she has checked in. She came in for Natasha Oniago. So it's Golem-Bysky, Wilson, Catanzaro, Wagner, and Pacini on the floor for the Jersey Blues. Also looks like Dominique Henderson has checked into the game on the side for Atlantic Cape. Remember, Atlantic Cape only has 6 players on their roster, Dominique being the only sub that they have. Reed tried to kick it into the corner for Canas, and it goes out of bounds.
You know, one problem you notice for Atlantic Cape offensively so far, they're taking a lot of time to get into the offense. We've seen already on a couple of occasions the shot clock winding down near 0 before they even get a shot attempt at the basket.
Bucks once again in the 2-3 zone. Here's Golem-Bysky. Now Catanzaro. Back to Golem-Bysky. Left arc 3. Too strong. Pacini grabs the rebound. Now here's Wilson, a right arc 3. That one's off the front rim, and it'll go back to Atlantic Cape.
Already you're seeing, though, with Brookdale, improvement as far as the passing. That was a big issue. How many times did we see the team not on the same page with their passes, leading to numerous turnovers? They already look crisper on the offensive end.
Yeah, Brian, 38 turnovers in the last game against Union on Thursday night, something that Coach Brunson and his team desperately needed to improve upon. Reed a long 3. Rebound Wilson. Wilson. Pacini. It was a long 2. He left it short. And Caitlin Reed has about her second or third rebound by my count. So now Brookdale, after seeing Atlantic Cape go to a 2-3 zone, has dropped into a 2-3 zone as well. Shot clock is down to 9 here. Reed from the corner is good. And Atlantic Cape ties it up at 3.
A very fluid offensive possession that time. Good ball movement right around the perimeter, leading to the 3-point ball.
Golem-Bysky, a 3 straight on. Off the back of the iron, and the rebound once again goes to Reed. Reed, the lead rebounder on the team. She averages around 14 a game. We've already seen her contribute very nicely on the boards. Alyssa Reed had her shot rejected in the post. Pacini 1-on-2. Tried to draw the foul. Wilson is there with the rebound. She can't finish. Pacini again off the glass and in.
Nice job by the Jersey Blues there, crashing the offensive glass. First Wilson, and then after she misses, it is Pacini able to collect it and give Brookdale the lead.
Oniago and Amanda Friend will check in for the first time on the next whistle. We'll stay here with Atlantic Cape with 17 to shoot, and here comes Amanda Friend and Natasha Oniago. Pacini and Catanzaro will go to the bench. Jasmine Adams also will come into the game as she checks in for Yesenia Canas. $17 to shoot for the Bucks. And that'll be another turnover there for Atlantic Cape. It's been an issue that they have struggled with to start this game. And you can see, Brian, on offense, the Bucks are trying to set up some type of a play, but Brookdale's defense so far, with the exception of that 1-3 by Reed, has done a pretty good job of shutting them down.
They have. They've allowed the shot clock to work its way down a couple of times, and Atlantic Cape unable to get a rhythm offensively thus far.
Loose on the floor, Adams and Wilson. Jump ball is called. This will go back to Atlantic Cape.
It's an Atlantic Cape team that when you look at the offensive numbers, they don't exactly jump out at you. They're averaging about 25 points a game. The shooting numbers are way down there from three-point range. They're around 11%. So Brookdale tried to take advantage of a team that's really had its issues on that side of the ball.
So under 3 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. Brookdale leads 5-3. Caitlin Reed. Now to Alyssa Reed. A long three is good. Straight on. And Atlantic Cape has their first lead of the night. And now a timeout is taken by Phil Strauss. Be a 30-second timeout just to discuss things after that great straight-on three by Reed. And that has been how Atlantic Cape has been able to stay in this game. 2 threes from behind the three-point line, and they have a 1-point lead.
Yeah, that's been the way they've scored their points. You mentioned the 2 3-pointers. Other than that, they haven't done much offensively. But for Brookdale, they're yet to really get on track. You'd like to see them cut down on the turnover numbers, run the offense through Gianna Piccini, who's yet to really get things going offensively for Brookdale as well.
Mentioned Phil Strauss in his first season as head coach, replaced Fred Daniel from last year. Very optimistic about his team's potential this season and hopes the team can continue to develop as they go along. They have been doing that, as evident by that impressive showing against Cumberland County a couple of days ago. Amanda Friend from the right arc. Golombisky can't save it from going out of bounds.
Yeah, Golombisky, pretty good effort. Of course, she missed the last game with that ankle injury, and plays like that make it a little bit dicey diving for a ball like that, but she is just fine.
Brookdale still in their zone defense. Atlantic Cape playing keep away around the perimeter. Shot clock is at 8. Here's Jefferson downstairs, had it blocked away by Catanzaro, and she draws the foul. And for Catanzaro, I believe this will be her second personal foul. It's the third on the team. Kaylon Jefferson will go to the line.
And Rich Brunson kind of gesturing out there to Catanzaro, trying to show her how to properly play defense and avoid committing fouls, as you mentioned now with 2 personals.
Jefferson can't hit the first one from the line. I mentioned this is a team in Atlantic Cape only shooting 33% from the charity stripe this season. Jefferson had a season-high 6 points against Rowan Gloucester County on November the 12th. Bucks go ahead 7-5 as Jefferson checks back out. Yesenia Canas back on the floor for the Bucks. Golombisky, she can shoot the 3. This one is short. Oniago, the rebound, she puts it up and in.
And Onyango, as you mentioned, Brookdale's best in that category, rebounding the basketball, shade under 9 a game, and there she was, right spot to collect it and score on the second chance.
She led the team against Union, 11 points, 5 rebounds. And on the season, averages around 9 rebounds a game. Canas short on the layup. And the rebound goes to, who else? Natasha Oniago. Piccini. Short jumper along the baseline. Oniago again. Wagner this time is able to put it in. But you see Brookdale doing a great job boxing out downstairs, and they have a 2-point lead.
I was just going to say the same thing. I think the biggest difference maker in this opening quarter has been Brookdale's ability on the offensive glass, creating numerous second chances.
Reed trying to answer from the left arc. Rebound goes to Adams. Atlantic Cape looking to Try to go somewhere with the ball. Not a whole lot of movement. Reed again, this time too strong. Golumbisky. Off the back iron, rebound, Canas. About a second or so difference between the shot clock and the game clock, so Atlantic Cape cannot hold for the final possession here. Reed looking over at Coach Strauss on the sidelines to get some instruction. Shot clock is down to 7. Canas in the corner. Adams with 2. Reed, top of the key, 3. Front rim no good, and that will end the quarter. Actually, no, it won't. The game clock shows 1/10 of a second.
It should be the end of the quarter.
Both teams are heading to the benches as if the quarter is finished. Nate Santana going over to talk things over with clock operator Bo Scanapico.
We should hear that little horn that sounds at the end of each quarter. But for now, that skinny, pesky 10th of a second still shown.
So both teams using this as kind of a pseudo timeout. I think that we'll take a break on BTV. Again, Brookdale leads 9-7. We'll have the second quarter of action when we come back.
This is not your ordinary community college. This is an education for the 21st century, a college that learns from industry trends and adapts to the changing job market.
Back here live in the Robert J. Collins Arena on the campus of Brookdale Community College as we get ready to start the second quarter here on Brookdale TV. Along with the rest of our crew, my broadcast partner Brian Goudsward, I am Tim Catalfamo. Glad you're watching tonight on Comcast Channel 21 and Verizon Fios Channel 46, along with our live stream and our YouTube channel. Brookdale leads 9-7 out of that timeout to end the quarter. Trying to add to their lead, Wilson rattles home a top of the key 3, and Brookdale now extends their lead 12-7. Actually, they'll call it a 2, actually. I thought Wilson was behind the three-point line, but instead it'll be a 2 unofficially for Wilson. As Kalen Jefferson inside, able to get a nice 2, so now 11-9, Brookdale leads. Last touched out of bounds will go back to Atlantic Cape. Kenya Wagner was there trying to get a hand on it. Here's Jefferson in the post at the left elbow. She can't get the jumper to fall. Now here's Wilson, who just hit that long 2, and Golumbisky is bumped along the perimeter. So the foul is on Yesenia Canas. That'll be her first personal and the first now in the Bucks here in the second quarter. Golumbisky looking to throw it in. Gets it back to Wilson. Aniago from the foul line, no. And the rebound to Alyssa Reed. Reed trying to go coast to coast, had it poked away, and now here comes Wilson away with it for Brookdale. So a couple of turnovers leading to some opportunities here for Brookdale. Golumbisky, a nice 2. And now Brookdale pulls ahead 13-9.
And Golumbisky kind of searching for the range in her first game back. Missed on a couple of three-pointers. That time, though, the mid-range game smooth on the jumper.
Into the corner, Canas, a long 3 is an air ball. Weak side rebound to Oniago. Wilson, Golumbisky. Oniago again from the foul line, left it short. So we've seen some good ball movement on the side for Brookdale, Brian, but they're leaving a lot of points on the table, keeping the door slightly open for Atlantic Cape.
Yeah, Nyongo's had a couple opportunities right around that foul line extended area, just unable to convert.
Goes off of the foot of Pacini. Shot clock is at 10. Amanda Friend and Anna Catanzaro come back into the game as Pacini and Kenya Wagner head back to the sidelines. Reed, now back to Caitlin Reed. Shot clock at 3. Alyssa Reed will have to force up a long 3. This one rattles off the rim, no.
And again, a case where the shot clock was winding down. The Buccaneers had to do a better job getting into the offense earlier on in the shot clock.
And Tiance Wilson traveled around midcourt. She knew it too. Good call by Eric Montgomery, one of the officials on the sidelines. And the Bucks, even though they haven't come out and shot tremendously well, only down by 4, hanging around with Brookdale. Inside, here's Jefferson, a nice move to get around Oniago, and she lays it in with the right hand.
Really was a nice job as she easily got around Onyango, not a bad defender, and gets to the basket and scores.
Golombisky tries to answer. And a foul here on the floor as Catanzaro was trying to go up after getting the rebound. And this will be a foul charged to Caitlin Reed. That'll be her second personal. Question will be, was she in the act of shooting? Officials are conferring. And it'll actually put Anna Catanzaro at the foul line.
I think Atlantic Cape actually wanted a jump ball to be called. That's what Phil Strauss, the head coach, was calling for on the sideline, but instead Brookdale gets free throws out of it.
So Catanzaro able to hit the first one from the line. We talked about Catanzaro. This is her first game this year. She's been battling an ankle injury, and according to Coach Brunson, she's worked very hard over the summer to improve upon her game. Obviously, the unfortunate injury prevented her from starting when the regular season started a couple of weeks ago, but now that we're in the month of November, she's part of the team, and you can already see the Brookdale offense just looks a little bit better because not only do you have Kenya Wagner downstairs, but you also now have Anna Catanzaro from last year.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about that, too, is she's one of the 2 sophomore leaders, and you need to have sophomores to give you that leadership quality on the court.
Here's Jefferson, who just had that nice basket, and she traveled. Brookdale in front, 15-11. Catanzaro, baseline jumper is good.
And that's very much a part of her game. She likes it about 10, 15 feet away, has that much space. She's going to take that more often than not and drain it.
Great form, too, on that jump shot. A turnover here. Golombisky comes away with it. Going right at Reed. Now Golombisky will take a 3, and she hits it. Timeout Atlantic Cape, as Brookdale has gone on a spurt, and they lead by 9 as we take another look at this last 3 from Golombisky. It's a 30-second timeout called by Phil Strauss. As you see Coach Brunson there on the sidelines in the blue suit talking things over with his players.
And the other thing, too, about Brookdale offensively, you talk about some players missing in action over the last few games, but Golombisky is really this team's true point guard, and I think the offense runs much better when you have that kind of player out there. We've seen her ability to distribute the ball, but she can also contribute on the scoring end, chipping in there with a 3 ball.
Golombisky didn't play in the last game against Union, along with Anna Catanzaro, who I mentioned was battling an injury, and Jessica Poplawski. Poplawski also battling a injury, is not in the lineup tonight, as Brookdale went to a full court press there and nearly caused a turnover.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that because that doesn't seem that it's been a big part of the Brookdale program this year. We saw them do a lot of that early in games last season, really can bother the opposition and force turnovers.
And now a moving screen here on Kaylon Jefferson right at midcourt. And for Jefferson, we'll check the number. I think that's her second, if I'm not mistaken. It's the third on Atlantic Cape. Correction, it's only the first foul on Jefferson. She remains in the game, and Golombisky is now heating up from behind the three-point line, another triple.
And that's been her spot. She's now hit 2 from right there, that left wing area. Give her 8 points in this first half.
Reed tries to answer. It's an air ball. Pacini the rebound. Wilson nearly had it taken away. Now here's Golombisky, who's had the hot hand. Wagner had it stripped. Reed comes up with it, and she gives it over to Alyssa Reed, her cousin. And now a tie-up is called. Possession arrow points towards the Bucks.
Well, that was quite a job by Reed, just prying the ball away without it being a jump ball, and then eventually there is a jump ball call, but the possession arrow favors the Buccaneers, so they take over anyway.
Yeah, good hustle by Reed, trying to keep that play alive. And Brookdale again will try to go to what appears to be a full court defense. Reed double teamed, and she went beyond the midcourt line, a backcourt violation.
Yeah, just a good job of trapping there. Golombisky and Pacini right there, and there was just no room to maneuver. Turnover forced.
Well, we talked about turnovers have been a problem for Atlantic Cape this year. They've struggled to score at times. They got off to a decent start in the first quarter, but here in the second, Brian, they're seeing Brookdale start to pour it on, especially from Golombisky and Catanzaro. Turnover there, taken away by Alyssa Reed. And here's Jasmine Adams trying to go ahead of the defense, a little bit short on the layup. Wilson taking it herself, draws the contact, but no foul is called. It'll stay here with Brookdale. Good defense there by Jasmine Adams, but definitely some contact as Wilson hit the deck hard.
I'll tell you, Phil Strauss is pretty fun to watch on the Atlantic Cape sideline. Very animated.
20 seconds to shoot. Pacini, who's been fairly quiet in this game, now over to Wilson. Pacini trying to drive to the basket, rolls off the rim, and the rebound again is collected by Caitlin Reed. Jefferson, right elbow jumper, too strong. Rebound Wagner. Pacini now runs right into Alyssa Reed, and it'll be a blocking foul on Reed. This will be on the floor. The fourth team foul now on Atlantic Cape, and the second on Alyssa Reed.
Yeah, Reed didn't have the feet set that time as she kind of was hit sideways there from Pacini, and hence the blocking foul.
Brookdale will take a timeout here on the floor. With 3:50 to go here in the second quarter, 23-11. Jersey Blues in front. We'll take a break on Brookdale TV and come back after this.
This is not your ordinary community college. This is an education for the 21st century, a college that learns from industry trends and adapts to the changing job market. This is a group of acclaimed professors and a staff who will stand at your side and help you kick down any door you choose. This is where you can learn a new skill or earn a degree, online or in person, at 6 locations across Monmouth County. This is not your ordinary community college. This is Brookdale. This is college redefined. This is success reimagined.
Back here at the Robert J. Collins Arena, 3:50 to play here in the first half. Brookdale in front, 23-11. You see head coach Phil Strauss on the sidelines, first year taking over this program. And they have got, Atlantic Cape does, a very tough stretch of games. This game tonight against Brookdale is part of a 7-game road trek that the Bucks will be on. That will not end until January. So this is an extremely tough part of the year. I talked about that great win on the road against Cumberland County, but with a very young team, only 6 players here suited up, ready to go, it is a tough challenge for them especially being that the Collins Arena has historically been one of the toughest places to play in the Region 19 Conference.
Yeah, anytime you play that many games, I mean, that is a long stretch to not be home, and for a team that struggled, it makes it all the more difficult.
Brookdale, that full court press leading to another turnover. They can't convert inside. Pacini, after getting the rebound, now goes back out to Wilson. Rims out on the three. Wagner grabs the rebound. She goes back up hard with it and will be fouled.
And again, offensive rebounding continues to really work in Brookdale's favor. Wagner has come up with more than a couple of them, and now at the free throw line for the Jersey Blues.
So the foul is on Alyssa Reed. That is her third personal. And remember, a team in Atlantic Cape that only has 6 players here suited up, only 1 sub. They cannot afford to get into foul trouble. Wagner's first attempt from the line a little too strong. Wagner, a player, as I mentioned earlier in the game, needs to get the ball in the post. Averages around 9 points a game and has 16 blocks on the year, Brian. A very talented defensive player. Full court press once again, and Wagner able to come up with a turnover. Pacini, a long 2. Another rebound and a travel on Wagner.
So since Brookdale has gone to this press, they have forced numerous turnovers on the Atlantic Cape side, and it's really gotten the score to be a little bit out of hand here, now up by 13 points.
Tiance Wilson will come out of the game. In for her for the first time, Jada Spalazzino, one of the many freshman players this year for Brookdale. Bucks able to handle the defense or no? Spalazzino able to come up with the turnover. Pacini. Now back to Golombisky, and Brookdale will wisely try to set up a look here. Oniago left all alone, backdoor, and she lays it in.
Great recognition from the perimeter by Golombisky, finding Onyango all alone down near the basket, and that was easy.
And again, full court press is on here for the Jersey Blues. Reed going at Oniago. It's blocked away out of bounds with 22 to shoot. Reed a long 2 from the corner. That's an air ball. As now, after starting off very well in the first quarter, Atlantic Cape has gone cold from around the perimeter. Oniago, a nice move to get around Reed. She gets her own rebound. She can't finish, though. And now to add insult to injury, Spalazzino commits a foul in the backcourt. Amanda Friend checks back in for Melissa Golombisky. So with 2:05 to play here in the first half, Brookdale 26, Atlantic Cape 11. Reed is able to break the full court press. Canas draws the foul. Foul is on Kenya Wagner. That's her first. So Yesenia Canas again at the foul line. Shoots 40% from behind the three-point line. But foul line shooting has not been the strength of Atlantic Cape. However, she's able to drain the first one. Canas 2 for 2. And the Bucks within 13. Amanda Friend, a long 3. Front rim no good. 90 seconds now left here in the first half. Jefferson. Now to Reed. Reed driving to the paint, and she's fouled. So we're seeing the last couple of times down the floor, Brian, Atlantic Cape trying to drive the ball into the paint and draw contact. They've done that. And on the side for Brookdale, that's Wagner's second personal foul.
And a good aggressive move there from Caitlin Reed, faking it from the outside, getting all the way to the basket as she misses on the first attempt.
Reed, the 5'8" freshman from Egg Harbor Township, has done a nice job in this game rebounding the ball, but Atlantic Cape will have to put more points on the board as Reed doesn't hit either one from the foul line. Wagner, a three. Reed now tries to answer with a three. That's an air ball. And both teams, even though they started out well in the first quarter, and you look at the scoreboard right now, Brookdale leads by 13, not shooting the ball all that well from around the perimeter.
Yeah, it's been kind of a low-scoring game, but Brookdale will take it, having this lead that they do at 13 points.
Oniago tried to save it from going out of bounds. She accidentally gave it to Reed, who goes coast to coast, can't lay it in with the left hand. Canas is there, trying to put it up and in. Reed, a third chance opportunity. And now the Bucks reset after the rebound from Jefferson. Jefferson again from the foul line, left it short. Shot clock is turned off here in the first half. Friend along the baseline, rolls off the rim. Oniago fighting for the rebound, and finally a foul on the floor. And we'll see who Nate Santana will charge the foul to. I think this will be on Dominique Henderson. Actually, no, instead they're going to call it on Natasha Oniago instead. So that'll be the first foul on her, and this will send Dominique Henderson to the foul line, because Brookdale now their fifth team foul. So Brookdale running into some foul trouble the last couple of minutes as we get ready to close out the first half of play. And Dominique Henderson, the 5'4" freshman, also from Egg Harbor Township. At the foul line right now. Rebound goes to Pacini. Game clock at 10. Pacini going coast to coast, and she lays it in. A collapse on defense there for the Bucks. 3 seconds to go in the half. Reed, a long three, doesn't fall. And at the end of one half of play, it is 28-13. Brookdale in front. As you see, Coach Brunson obviously very happy with his first half performance from his team. Will go into the locker room up by 15. And for Atlantic Cape, they started out the first quarter fairly well, but you saw Brookdale go on a run in the second to close out the first half, performing very strongly, and especially from play out of some of the players on the floor, such as Melissa Golombisky. Kenya Wagner has also contributed downstairs, and even though Brookdale hasn't played great at times, they're still not shooting the ball all that well. They're doing just enough on both offense and defense to keep Atlantic Cape at bay for now.
Yeah, and I think you said it. I think Golombisky has been the biggest difference maker so far. Getting her back in the lineup, she's set it up teammates. She's made a couple from three-point range, leading this team in scoring. But the biggest thing for Brookdale in this first half was offensive rebounding, and Kenya Wagner was a big part of that. They created so many second and third chance opportunities and were able to capitalize off that, scoring, building up a lead to 15 points. An impressive bounce-back performance thus far from the Jersey Blues.
Certainly a very good first-half performance. We'll see if Atlantic Cape can try to rebound in the second half. We're at halftime here in the Collins Arena. We'll take a break and come back with more programming live tonight on BTV.
Are you guys ready to be part of Biology Club? Because I'm not. Let's hear more about it. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So you guys are in front of this amazing biology club poster. Can you tell me about biology club?
Well, last semester we did yoga, we had a stack and study, we did essential oils. We went to the cadaver lab at Rutgers, so that's me holding a brain. And we had the dire wolves from Game of Thrones come too.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so this is crazy. So I am not a huge fan of biology, but I love yoga and essential oils.
Yeah.
So can anyone join this club even if they're not like biology majors?
We want them to.
So yeah, anyone can join the club. You don't have to be a bio major or anything like that. It's for everyone to come. We're doing studying sessions and stuff like that. We have free pizza, so all the good stuff.
Biology is like a really, obviously med school and everything's really hard to get into. So having all these extracurriculars on your resume can't hurt, right?
No, it cannot hurt at all.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you. If you're a business major or you're not even a business major, you just want to get to know more about business, then Business Club is where you should be. Can you please tell me more about Business Club?
All right, our goal in Business Club is to build a team, and we're gonna focus on building our image, try to strive for business information like stock market, currency exchange. We're gonna build our resumes. We want to try to help every freshman or every business major that's on campus to succeed in their classes. So if you're a business major, you can come to us. We'll help you, surely. We're going to have some fun trips. We're probably going to the Federal Reserve or some business schools. We're going to see that with our new members, and we're going to have a great semester. It's going to be fun.
That's so amazing. Thank you so much. What's up, guys? We are here with the cheerleading club. What's up?
Hi.
You guys look amazing.
Thank you.
So is this your first year at Brookdale or you guys returning students?
First year.
Oh my gosh. And tell me, what do you think about the cheerleading club so far?
It's very fun.
It's really fun. Everyone's really welcoming, and it's all really good. Yeah.
So what are some events that you guys are looking forward to do this year?
Honestly, the basketball games I'm looking forward to. Basketball season is like starting, so I'm excited for that.
Tell me about the cheerleading club. Sometimes, like in high school, I know I auditioned for the cheerleading club and I didn't get in. It was very cliquey. Tell me about Brookdale's cheerleading club. Is it very open? Like, can anyone join?
Yes, they don't care if you've never done it before. Like very welcoming, not
Completely
clicky.
they won't care. Yeah. So it's really good though.
Go Brookdale!
Hello, guys. We want change in the world, and here I have the program manager of Change at Brookdale. How you doing?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So can you tell me more about Change?
So CHANGE stands for the Center for Holocaust, Human Rights, and Genocide Education, and we focus on educating the community about mass atrocities in the world, both in the past and in the present. So we do programming throughout the year at Brookdale, and all events are free to Brookdale students. And we also have an exhibit that focuses on the Holocaust, the Armenian Genocide, and the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, and that's also free to Brookdale students.
So amazing. It's really making students relevant about what has gone on in the past and what's going on today. And can anyone drop in at any time? Do you have to be a part of the club? How can we join?
So we're a nonprofit organization on campus, so anyone can drop by and become a volunteer whenever they want. Also, we're open Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for tours for Brookdale students. So you can feel free to drop by, look at the exhibit, and learn more about the past.
Okay, thank you so much for telling us more about it.
Thank you.
28-13, Brookdale in front as we get ready to start the second half here on BTV, along with the rest of our crew, and of course Brian Goudsworth. I'm Tim Califano. Brookdale came out very strong in the opening half, and even though Atlantic Cape was able to keep pace with them in the first quarter, the Jersey Blues obviously were able to really turn it on in the second, and for the moment have the game in control. We'll see what happens here in the second half.
Yeah, and I think for Brookdale, you had to be a little unsure just what we were going to see coming out in this game. You come off a game where you scored only 20 points, blown out in a game of that magnitude, and to see them come out like this is impressive with the reinforcements back in the lineup. They did a very good job crashing the offensive glass. Melissa Golombisky played a key role, and Brookdale was able to build up a nice lead.
And out of the break, it is Tiance Wilson with a three from the left arc to continue to add to that pretty big lead that Brookdale had at halftime, now 31-13. And a turnover, and the Blues will get it back. So Brookdale opens up the second half with Wilson, Golombisky, Wagner, Pacini, and Catanzaro on the floor. It's Adams, the two Reeds, Jefferson, and Canas on the side for the Bucks. Downstairs, Catanzaro on the low block after the feed from Golombisky.
And we've seen Golombisky find Onyango and now Catanzaro in the post, I should say, delivering the pass from out near the perimeter.
Canas ahead of the defense, can't hit the layup, and the rebound goes to Wagner. Golombisky, who's had the hot hand as of late, tried to go baseline and lost it out of bounds. Programming note, at the end of the women's basketball game, the men's basketball teams will take the floor. Tip-off is scheduled for approximately 7 o'clock as a nice give and go from Tiance Wilson to Kenya Wagner, and Brookdale is continuing to pour it on here in the second half.
See the nice pass there from Wilson finding Wagner, and Brookdale playing extremely well as a team in this game.
Foul here as Jefferson had it at the foul line. Brookdale has gone on a 7-0 run to start this second half.
And it's 7 points in about a minute and a half. I mean, that's impressive to score that number in such a short amount of time.
Gianna Pacini will go to the sidelines. In for her, Natasha Oniago. Reed may have gotten away with extending the arm, and she actually had to go off of Anna Catanzaro's foot. So a lucky break there for the Bucks. Canas will inbound. And once again, this one goes off the foot of Catanzaro, but it was last touched by Canas. Back to Brookdale. Talked about Atlantic Cape's struggles to put points on the board. That win that they had over Cumberland a couple of nights ago when they won 50-46, that was the highest amount of points that they have put up against a Region 19 Division III opponent this year.
Yeah, they had one game where they were held under 10 points, and so that's why their season mark is only around 25 points a game, and that's just not good enough to get the job done.
Reed. Rebound Catanzaro. We also talked about this during the halftime break. I think it was off air, Brian. Atlantic Cape early on in the first quarter was going inside and driving to the basket and had some mild success. They've seemed to have backed away from that, and Brookdale's been able to capitalize as Wagner there along three. Catanzaro touching it last out of bounds.
Yeah, and early on they had too many possessions that were going right down to the wire with the shot clock winding down. That kind of seemingly set the tone for their offensive performance throughout this game.
35-13, Brookdale in front here in the third quarter. Canas has it taken away. Feed up to Wilson. Wilson may have traveled, and she did.
And I think just indecision there on the part of Wilson after she collected that pass, whether she wanted to go up and score all in one motion or dish it off to a teammate, and as a result, took too many steps.
Canas goes to the bench. Dominique Henderson checks back onto the floor for the Bucks. Reed a straight-on three. Left it short. We've seen a lot of shots tonight for the Bucks. Graze the front of the rim. Just not getting off of their feet enough to have that shot go through. Golombisky this time is too strong. Wagner the rebound. Catanzaro the long jumper is good.
Yeah, I think to your point about a lot of shots being missed short, I think that shows a sign of fatigue. And this is a team that's playing a lot of road games. They only have 6 players on their roster. It's only fair that they would get tired as the game goes on.
Foul here on the paint on Brookdale. Yeah, you talked about endurance. I was talking to head coach Phil Strauss about that before the game because you bring up a very valid point. Only 6 players here to play. You have 1 sub, which means that at least 4 of your players are going to be pulling a lot of minutes. And he said the team is improving with endurance throughout the year. Obviously, you have to kind of build up your endurance playing at game speed. And it's been a challenge for them. Obviously, they would like to have more subs, but they have been building up their endurance. However, they have struggled on the offensive end, still not able to get 1 bucket in this third quarter so far. Wagner picked up her third foul that last time for Brookdale. The foul this time on Atlantic Cape is on Jasmine Adams. That's her first. And Gianna Pacini now at the foul line, the 5'7" freshman from Keyport. Played forward at Keyport High School where she had 1,000 career points, but now she shifted to playing guard. And Coach Brunson has told me that it's been a adjustment for her, because when you're used to playing one position and then you go to a totally different position, not just at a different level here from going from high school to college, but a different position on the floor, it's a huge transition, and she has struggled with that a little bit according to Coach Brunson, but she does appear to be not only growing into that role, but becoming more comfortable as being one of the players up front for Brookdale.
Yeah, she's averaging double-figure scoring on the season, but it's kind of gone in spurts. She has a big game and then kind of struggles shooting the next game, so she's trying to find a rhythm offensively playing that new position.
Averages around 10 points a game. Here is Pacini, and she draws the foul again. And this will be the second foul on Jasmine Adams. Yesenia Canas will check back into the game. Alyssa Reed, who, remember, is playing with 3 personal fouls now on the bench. And Pacini again at the foul line. Catanzaro, after the miss, can't convert. And Caitlin Reed able to secure the rebound for the Bucks. Wilson poked it away. And actually, they'll say off of Reed, back to Brookdale. Wow. Nice job by Tiance Wilson, who, remember, has only played a couple of games for Brookdale this year. Wilson straight on another 3. As Brookdale continues to just pour it on here in the third quarter. Wilson setting her feet. Adams a little bit late getting to her. And now it is 42-13.
You can see the confidence beaming for Wilson now as she's made a couple from behind the arc.
Very highly regarded recruit from Monmouth Regional High School. Pacini, a long 2, rims out. And going back to that point I was talking about a second ago, Wilson has only played a couple of games this year, but you can already see that Coach Brunson not only has confidence in her, inserting her into the starting lineup this evening, but she's a great ball handler and seems to be able to play the point very well with Melissa Golombisky.
Yeah, and having 2 players that can handle the ball is a big difference maker. It allows you to not just rely on only Golombisky, giving Williams that second option for Brookdale in that regard is important.
Reed puts up a 3. It's short. Alyssa Reed comes back onto the floor as Yesenia Canas goes to the bench. It's tough when you only have 1 sub. I mean, a lot of these players are playing a full game this evening. Catanzaro from the foul line, too strong off the back iron. And the rebound to Reed. Approaching 4 minutes left here in the third. Great defense there by Wilson, not allowing Reed to drive to the basket. Now here's Caitlin Reed to Jefferson. Jefferson on the drive, puts it up, it rolls off the rim, no good. So many of the Bucks' shots this evening have either rolled off the rim or have been short. And now a traveling violation against Pacini.
And Brookdale has done a much better job in this game cutting down the turnover number. We talked about it in the last game, 38 of them, and that's just not going to be good enough to win too many games. And they've done a much better job taking care of the basketball. I think it's a product of having the reinforcements back on the court, but just overall the offense running so much more smoothly. A terrific bounce back effort And a bounce back from a stretch that has been a troublesome one for the Jersey Blues of late.
A bunch of substitutions that last time for Brookdale. Oniago, Pacini, and Catanzaro all go to the bench. An offensive foul on Reed as she knocked down Golombisky to the floor. Golombisky, along with Isabel McRons and Kenya Wagner, checked onto the floor for Brookdale during that last timeout.
Got a technical foul here, as after that last foul on Atlantic Cape, there must have been some unpleasant words exchanged.
This is going to be on Dominique Henderson. So it's the first on her, the fourth team foul on Atlantic Cape. Amanda Friend at the foul line. One of 3 new recruits joining Brookdale mid-season. And because it's a technical foul, Brookdale will get the ball back. They already had possession of the ball, but they'll get it anyway. So it's Golombisky, Wilson, McRons, Wagner, and Amanda Friend on the floor for the Jersey Blues. Friend traveled. Reed goes around the screen, splits 3 defenders, and is fouled on her way to the rim.
And another technical foul has been assessed.
I'm not sure who this is on. I think it's on Atlantic Cape.
It's like Rich Brunson kind of slumped his head. I think this one might be on the Jersey Blues.
Okay, so Wagner not only committed the personal foul on the floor, but then the technical foul. That is now her 5th and final foul. She is fouled out of the game. And that explains why Coach Brunson was a little bit displeased on the sidelines.
And it's why he's over there consoling Wagner on the Brookdale bench.
And that's an issue that Brookdale has had difficulty with. 14 team fouls against Middlesex, 10 and that loss to Passaic. It's been an area that Brookdale has been trying to clean up. Stay here with the Bucks with 19 to shoot. But an unforced error there. Brookdale still, though, in command, 42-14, and the turnover here as Amanda Friend comes up with it. Golombisky to Catanzaro. Now to McRons, back to Catanzaro. She got her own rebound, and somehow she draws, nope, she traveled.
Oh, it was a good effort to try to draw a foul there, try to fancy reverse layup or whatever you want to call that, but called for steps.
Still waiting to see if Atlantic Cape will try to drive to the basket. Canas loses it. Tie up here on the floor. Possession arrow is pointing towards the Bucks. But I'm still waiting to see if Atlantic Cape can try to drive the ball inside. They've got a couple of players that have shown the ability to drive to the hoop. They've also been able to get Kaylon Jefferson a couple of times. Here's Reed, now that I say that, going to the rim. Adams is fouled.
Yeah, and I think they've only managed 1 point here in this quarter as they've yet to score on a field goal. And we'll try to add points here at the free throw line, try somehow, some way to cut into this significant deficit.
So Jasmine Adams, the 5'5" freshman from Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's the first attempt from the line, had 9 points in that win against Cumberland the other night. A breakout game for her. Mentioned earlier was the most points that Atlantic Cape had scored all season. And they were able to battle back in that game. They trailed 28-19 at halftime, but were able to shut down the Dukes in the second half and come away with a much-needed win. Golden Bysky along the baseline. Rebound Jefferson. Caitlin Reed is fouled at the left elbow. They'll be on Catanzaro. That's her fourth.
So Brookdale's already lost one on a foul out in Wagner, and now Catanzaro perilously close.
And Brookdale does not need to lose Catanzaro. Caitlin Reed at the foul line. First attempt off the heel. 5'8" freshman from Egg Harbor Township. Talked about early on in the first half how Caitlin and Alyssa Reed are cousins on the floor, not sisters, cousins. Hailing from Egg Harbor Township. As Catanzaro checks out of the game with 4 fouls. Oniago is back on the floor for the Jersey Blues. And now look at this, the Bucks going with a full court press here to try to force a turnover. We'll see if it helps them. Trailing 42-17. Golombisky now back to Oniago. On the drive, a whistle, and 3 seconds in the paint on Oniago.
Nyongo just camped out there a little bit too long on that drive. Didn't realize that when she caught it, she was in the paint, and thus the turnover. As you see Rich Brunson there, very satisfied with his team's performance tonight.
And another offensive foul as Reed goes right over Golombisky. I believe that's the second time that that has happened. And that's the 4th on Alyssa Reed. Golombisky taking 2 different charges so far in this third quarter alone. Golombisky running the length of the floor to the rim is fouled. Fouls on Caitlin Reed, that's her first personal. Both teams have maxed out with team fouls here in this quarter. And Melissa Golombisky, the 5'3" freshman from Middletown, New Jersey, mentioned the fact that she's coming off of an ankle injury. Very tough player, can drive to the basket, but even though Brookdale has had success, Brian, they still really, I don't feel, have been able to drive to the basket as effectively as I think they would have hoped, as Golombisky can't hit either one from the foul line.
Yeah, and Golombisky just a good all-around player. She's more than just a scorer, can facilitate, also chip in with the occasional rebound. So she does it all for this Jersey Blue team.
And another inerrant shot there by Jefferson, not hitting the rim. Under a minute left to go here in the third quarter. Reed trying to come up with that loose ball. Poking it out of bounds. McRons, a 3 if it goes. A little bit too strong for Isabel. Saved out of bounds by Oniago, but it'll go back to Atlantic Cape.
And I don't know that that's exactly the game for Macron, stepping out at that distance and trying to shoot a jumper, but when you're up 42-17, you can do some uncharacteristic things.
Jefferson had her pocket picked by Wilson. Tell you what, Tiance Wilson has been all over the floor this evening, both on offense and defense. In transition, Oniago may have gotten pushed from behind. Jefferson lost it. It's loose on the floor. And last touch to who has it? It's Atlantic Cape basketball. Actually, no, they're going to say it's Brookdale ball. Shot clock is turned off. Golombisky off the glass and in. What a shot. Final seconds ticking down here in the quarter. Adams a half-court heave. And that'll end the third quarter of play with Brookdale in front, 44-17. Brookdale in command. Atlantic Cape still searching for some answers. We'll come back to wrap it up with the fourth quarter of play after this commercial break on BTV.
The involvement fair here at Brookdale is coming to an end, but it is never too late to get involved. To learn more about all these clubs that Brookdale has to offer, all these friends you can meet, and all these things you could do, please visit our website at brookdalecc.edu. I'm Sophia Perola with Brookdale Television, and we will see you next time. Hello, I am here with Jewish Student Union, and here to talk with me is this amazing gentleman. How you doing?
Thank you very much.
Back here in the Collins Arena, getting ready to wrap up our first of two games this evening as Brookdale and Atlantic Cape squaring off in a doubleheader. The women's game now, the men's game coming up at approximately 7 o'clock. It will be probably a little bit delayed because of the fact that the women's game was a little bit delayed getting started. But again, we ask you to stay tuned at approximately 7 o'clock for the live coverage of that game, and not to put the cart before the horse, but that game will be a very close match, both Brian and I believe. Atlantic Cape on the men's side 3-2 this year. Brookdale seeking their first win on this floor. So a lot of storylines going into that game to preview it. Coming your way next after this game concludes. Brookdale in command, up 44-17. Wilson runs right into Canas and draws the foul. And the Buccaneers were only able to muster up 4 points in that third quarter, which is a testament to how well Brookdale's been able to play defense in this second half.
Yeah, and they're on pace to hit right around their season average of about 25 points if they score 8 more. And credit Brookdale defensively for stepping up after what was a tough game out last week, and they really had it all working tonight.
So Tiance Wilson, we've talked about her play. She's been really all over the floor, the 5'3" freshman from Eatontown. One of the recruits that Coach Brunson was very excited to have on the floor. 1 of the 2 from the line that time for Wilson, and again, Brookdale in front, 45-17. Caitlin Reed a long 3. She's been looking for that shot all night long. Jump ball is called. This will go to Atlantic Cape. And a nice 3 from the corner. Canas able to drill it from the left wing. It looks like Canas may have injured herself. She's down on the floor on the other side of the court. And now officials stop play. Yesenia Canas. Looks like she may have did something to her ankle. She knocks down that 3 from the corner. And then...
Yeah, I didn't see what happened with her. She just kind of landed awkwardly after releasing that jumper, if there was contact, but appears to be a leg or ankle or some sort there.
So Coach Brunson will take this time to talk to his team as Yesenia Canas is helped up by athletic trainer Pete Fusco and will take a seat on the bench. Does appear to be a ankle injury. And Again, with Atlantic Cape only having 6 players here to play, it will force Dominique Henderson to come back in. And for the moment, Atlantic Cape will only have 5 players. But still a great shot from the corner by Canas. Jada Spalazzino has now checked into the game for Brookdale. Brookdale having a very large bench and has been rotating players in all game long. Wilson, a step back jumper. Rebound Reed. Wilson playing tough defense on Reed. A long 3, rattles in 2 threes back-to-back for the Bucks. And don't look now, this game isn't quite over.
Bucks all of a sudden something to feel good about, and now going to a little press here as Brookdale was able to get it across midcourt.
45-23. Oniago working against Jefferson. Spalazzino put it up, no. Got her own rebound. Adams on the floor trying to grab it. And a timeout is taken by the Bucks. So great job defensively by Jasmine Adams, ripping that ball away from Spalazzino. And it'll be a full timeout on the floor for head coach Phil Strauss. You see him there in his first season. We'll take a break with him. 45-23, Brookdale in front, but the Bucks trying to mount a charge late in this game. 8:15 left here in the game. Brookdale 45, Atlantic Cape 23. Bucks have been able to put up 2 straight threes and are seeming to try to mount a charge here late in the game. They still have a long way to go, but Brookdale has yet to been able to answer those 2 straight threes. Reed will try to make it 3 for 3 from behind the three-point line. That one doesn't go. Pacini the rebound, and she's fouled from behind by Henderson.
I mean, kind of a silly foul there because Pacini had clearly secured the defensive rebound, and Henderson just a little over-aggressive.
And remember, keep in mind with the injury to Yesenia Canas, Atlantic Cape cannot afford anybody else fouling out of the game. Oniago along the baseline to Pacini. Now back to Oniago, a jumper, rims out. And we've seen that a lot tonight. Good ball movement, but Brookdale not quite able to execute as many times as they would like on the offensive end. They've done a nice job handling Atlantic Cape, but still are well below the amount of points that we're used to seeing Brookdale put up in this building. Shot clock is at 7 here for Henderson. Last touched here by Pacini.
Very good defensive possession here from Brookdale, and now the Bucks will have to hurry to get a shot away with only 4 seconds to shoot.
Be 4 seconds to shoot. Reed, uncontested 3 is short. Atlantic Cape just not getting off of their feet. A lot of these shots have just grazed the rim this evening. Pacini in the left arc. Shot clock at 14. Wilson, right arc 3. That one she left short. Neither team shooting really all that great. Here's Reed. Almost had it poked away. Now Reed fighting with Friend down low, and it was last touched by Reed on the baseline.
Friend is down for an extra second, now gets to her feet. I think she took a shot up near the eye.
Was some contact between her and Reed on the low block, and Amanda Friend, the 5'8" freshman from Hazlitt, will come out of the game along with Pacini. Anna Catanzaro, remember she's playing with 4 fouls along with Isabel McRons are on the floor. And another foul this time on Caitlin Reed at midcourt. It's the 3rd foul on the Bucks here in the 3rd quarter, the 3rd on Reed, as Yesenia Canas will come into the game. She was injured a moment ago. She appears to be all right. She has a or actually she had a ice pack attached to her right leg. She's taken that off, but good to see her back on the floor. Reed going around 3 different defenders to the rim. She can't finish. And Wilson pads her efforts with another rebound. And Oniago just was not ready for that pass from Catanzaro. Mentioned the fact that Atlantic Cape is taking part in a 7-game road stretch, which includes this game here tonight, so a tough stretch for Phil Strauss's team. They're on the road against Camden County on December the 3rd, then at Sussex, at Bergen, and at Ocean, along with Rowan at Gloucester County. Several games on the road. Their next home game for the Bucks is not until January 11th. They'll take on Tia Eaton's team in Passaic.
Boy, how about that? I mean, there are road trips and then there are road trips, and that's something.
It's an incredibly tough stretch for a very young team that does not have any freshmen on their roster. And a foul on Alyssa Reed that last time. That is her 5th personal foul.
The people who look the
So now she is fouled out of the game, and now that truly does leave Atlantic Cape with just 5 players. They'll have no more subs. Tasha Oniago, the 5'8" freshman from Plainfield, talked about her presence on the floor, especially defensively. 40 rebounds coming into this game tonight, averages around 9 a game, and has continued to develop very nicely as the season has gone along.
Yeah, it was the lone bright spot in the last game with the 11 points, and I think kind of gained some confidence that she can be a bigger part of this team as the season moves along.
Foul here on Goldenbaiski, that's her first, as Amanda Friend comes in. She had gone out a moment ago with what appeared to be a left eye injury. She's okay. One of the many freshmen on this team, and another jumper from the corner, this time from Reed.
And for Atlantic Cape, I think it's almost too little too late. They went such a long stretch without scoring, but they have gotten it going offensively lately.
Isabel McRons from the right wing drills a 3, and it's 49-25 Jersey Blues. Reed answers right back with a 3. How about Caitlin Reed this evening?
Boy, it's like shooting practice going back and forth now.
49-28. Oniago takes it to the rim, can't lay it in, but she got her own rebound. And Friend traveled at the left arc. So every time it appears that Atlantic Cape is not going to be able to answer offensively, they put together a little mini spurt. And even though they're still trail by 21, they're not going away. Reed this time with a 3.
Yeah, they're kind of just jacking up shots here now, not really getting into any kind of a flow. They have made a few of them of late, but you'd like to see work the offense a little bit better.
Catanzaro will try her luck from behind the 3-point line, and she drains it. Catanzaro, historically not a 3-point shooter. You would never know it. Great form. And that might be the last little bit to put Brookdale over the edge and secure the win this evening. Friend will go coast to coast, and she banks it off of the glass and in.
Really good recognition there by Friend. Saw the void in the defense, realized she could exploit it as she goes through the paint with the floater, as you see a very bare Buccaneer bench.
Canas, high off the glass, doesn't drop. Rebound Oniago. High feed to Oniago, too high for her to be able to grab. And Jefferson able to pick it up, now gets it up to Reed. Another three from the left arc is short.
They just continue to move it across midcourt and jack up threes. That's been the way they've gone here. That's just a sloppy possession there for Brookdale.
For as great as Brookdale has played at some times in this game, they have been sloppy, Brian, and that's been a theme that we've seen all year. In fact, even the game that they were able to win earlier this year, the only win that they have against Camden in their season opener here at home, they had multiple turnovers and multiple stretches where the team played sloppy. So it's an area that Coach Brunson has been trying to clean up, but so far they still have some work to do.
Yeah, and I mean, they've cut down the number from the 38 a game ago. You have to figure just by default it would be a better performance than what we saw in the last game. And like you said, there are still things to work on even after this game, though it is a much better performance than what we've seen lately.
Adams being guarded by Friend. Now Adams goes right at Catanzaro. And we've seen multiple times this evening the Bucks just cannot convert inside the paint. Coming up, men's basketball, Atlantic Cape will be taking on Brookdale. That game coming up just after 7 o'clock. Catanzaro, another three. Reed runs right into Catanzaro, and that'll be a travel. As Catanzaro went straight up.
Yeah, good job there, having it not be an offensive foul, and then the defender just took, or the offender, I should say, taking too many steps.
So under 90 seconds to go here in this game, it looks like Brookdale will pick up that elusive win that they've been looking for the last 4 games after dropping 4 in a row. They'll improve to 2-6 on the year as Amanda Friend now has a new career high. That's 4 points for her this evening. She previously had 2 against Middlesex, so nice job by the freshman, but Brookdale will improve to 2-6 on the year. Atlantic Cape looks like is going to fall to 1-5. And as we've talked about several times, they will continue this road trek. They'll be on the road against Camden December the 3rd after Thanksgiving. Whereas Brookdale, their next game will be here at home against Sussex on December the 3rd. Tiance Wilson will come into the game as Anna Catanzaro looks like will check out for what I assume will be the final time, along with Natasha Oniago. Reed, another three. This one off the mark. Pacini ahead of the defense with the right hand, can't get the layup to drop. And Adams gets fouled. Or does she? Is this a foul on Adams? It will be on Jasmine Adams. That's her 4th. And now a timeout is taken by Coach Brunson with 31 seconds left here in the 4th. Obviously, they'll cruise to an easy win in front by a commanding margin, 59-28. Full timeout on the floor. We'll come back to wrap it up after this.
Best in this fair. How you guys doing over here?
We doing good. We doing good. We got the drip on lockdown. You know what I mean? We got the drip on lockdown. Fashion Club. You know how it is.
Ooh, I don't know what that means, but tell me more about Fashion Club.
We look at fashion from all decades and all that. You know, looking fresh, looking fleet, be inspired by fashion, wondering how fashion influences us, make some Brookdale fashion shows. You know, something light.
What did you love about being part of the Fashion Club? Why do you love being at the club?
I love being part of the Fashion Club because I'm an artist, and looking at different types of art, like AKA clothing, is really unique. Like looking at how fashion has changed over the years, how it's an art form, how it's a form of expression. I always find that interesting because it helps you step up your game. So we usually meet 11:45 to 1:15, Tuesdays and Thursdays during college hour.
31 seconds left here in the game. Brookdale in command, 59-28. They'll pick up their second win of the year, and even though at times it was a little bit sloppy, Brian, a big win it looks like for the Jersey Blues this evening.
Yeah, good, strong all-around performance. It, as you mentioned, started a little bit slow. Then they kind of went to the press, got things going, and it wasn't really close for much of the way, especially in the second half.
Brookdale's just going to dribble out the clock. They cannot dribble out the game clock. Shot clock will expire first. Be 1 second left to go. And Brookdale will officially pick up their second win. Adams tried to get it over to her teammate, Canas, and that will end it. Brookdale, a commanding win, 59-28. At times, as I mentioned a moment ago, playing a little bit sloppy on the floor, but nonetheless are able to pick up a much-needed win, and they stop a 4-game slide. Final score, 59-28. And, of course, we welcome you back into our broadcast booth here in the Collins Arena alongside Brian Gowsworth. I am Tim Catalfamo. Brookdale, they were looking for a win, and we expected this to be a tough outing for Atlantic Cape. Of course, only 6 players here suited up to go. But we really saw a lot of players, in particular on the Brookdale side, step up and make some plays down the stretch.
Yeah, it was really a team effort tonight. Melissa Golombisky played a big role, set the tone early, got on the board with a couple of threes, made it happen defensively. And in the second half, they kind of got the shooting going. You saw Anna Catanzaro make a couple of threes, and this top to bottom was a really strong effort from Brookdale, and as you mentioned, a game that they really needed considering the hard times that had faced them in recent games.
So Brookdale again 2-6 on the year. Their next home game will be against Sussex on December 3rd. Men's basketball action coming up next. Atlantic Cape and Brookdale getting ready to square off just after 7 o'clock. Keep it locked here on BTV for that game after this.